Good evening, everybody. This is the Opinion Guy. I am Charles I. Guarria, broadcasting just steps away from the world's most famous beach, Daytona Beach in Daytona Beach, Florida. I hope you have had a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas, Hanukkah just passed, and Kwanzaa as well. And I hope that you are enjoying all three of those, getting together with friends and family, and we'll have a happy and safe New Year's. We've had a great time so far. The lovely Donna and I have had a wonderful time. And this evening, we are going to do our Monday night news show, focusing a lot on Trump. He's been doing a lot of things and a lot in the news these days, as any president is, but is it possible that Trump's coalition is falling apart? We are going to bring on the experts of this channel, Michael Vass Vasquez and Joe Hannoush, in just a moment. I just want to say it's been a week since we've been on. A lot of folks were like, "Hey, can you?" It was a little bit busy during the holiday season getting folks to come on. After all, I am not Joe Rogan yet, and so people are like, "Can we just hang until the early part of next year?" And of course, I said yes. And starting out the early part of next year, I just want to let you guys know we are slam banging busy. We're going to have all kinds of great people on, authors, people have thrown their hat into the ring to run, political candidates, in other words, musicians. They're all coming on from national touring acts. Oh, I'm not going to say who because I've been poached as a writer. When I suggested a story to a local newspaper and they gave it to one of their own writers, I know that for a fact. So I am not going to say who's coming on until like the day before. So stay tuned for that. And without further ado, I bring to you our experts, Joe Hannoush and Michael Vass Vasquez.
Hello.
Hello,
Good
everybody.
evening.
How's everyone doing?
Very
Awesome.
good.
How are you?
All right. I am rocking and rolling and having a great time. Also, thanks everybody out there for your patience. We are late this evening because of me. Trying to figure out these lights. I saw an old show from like two weeks ago, and I'm like, I really like the red behind my logo, but I don't know. So I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna take some time tomorrow and really dig into how I want these lights. So, but this is what we got for this evening. Also, I was curious, Michael. I'm gonna start with you because I watched your show and I saw that I am curious to know how your dog is doing because I saw Khan was not doing so well during your show. And please give us an update on if Khan's around, bring him on stage.
Well, now he just walked away. He was here about 2 minutes ago. But first, I didn't do my Sunday show, season 7, episode 52, which would be the full year. I didn't do that last one because Restream was down, in case people are wondering. But that being said, so you're talking about episode 51, and he caught his toe, his claw, and he jerked it. We had to clip that off. So he was a little bit sore. His foot was sore, and that's why people heard him scream in the background. He had just caught his toe. Basically, it's like if you stubbed your toe and then you broke the toe. Same idea for him. But he's doing pretty good. Yeah, wound up next day, taking him into the vet, took the nail off. He's doing all right now.
All right.
Thank you for asking.
No problem. How old is Khan?
He's 14, going to be 15 in February.
Oh, wow. All right.
Pretty old for a dog.
Yes, definitely. That's I'm glad that he's going to be all right. That's good news, of course. And so how's your holidays? How do you celebrate the holidays, Mike?
Family was over. It was relatively quiet. I got to play some video games, got a little bit of work done as well. For me, a holiday is a day where I only look at 1 or 2 hours of news and spend the rest of the time either doing some work or playing video games. And I have family, of course. But so for me, it was very relaxing. I don't know if that would be as relaxing for other people, though.
Yeah. How about you, Joe?
My car was in the shop over the holidays, so I stayed at home. But once my car was ready to be picked up, my parents and I went to lunch and did some shopping, and then they dropped me off to pick up my car. So that was my day with family. Was after Christmas.
All right. Yeah, we host one night on Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas Day we go over to Donna's sister's house. We had a good deal of friends and family over on Christmas Eve, and it's like really relaxed, no formal dinner, like some shrimp and finger foods and stuff like that. But it's really cool. We had a really great time. So, here's the big question: do you guys do resolutions? Joe, start with you.
I used to, and I would never keep to them, so I stopped doing them because it was pointless, and I would just end up being disappointed with myself. But I am gonna try to continue doing just like some. I try to go running. I do mostly walking though, and it's just something to kind of keep moving, keep your body parts moving, and so I'm just gonna try to continue to do that. That's my resolution.
All right. How about you, Mike?
No, I don't do resolutions. I do stuff when I need to get it done, make a plan, get it done. I don't need to spend. The problem with resolutions, New Year's, and why so many people fail is you really don't have a reason. Your drive isn't to get that thing done. If it was, you'd do it on any day of the year. You want to lose weight, you're going to lose weight. You want to exercise, you're going to exercise. If you're trying to tie it to a day, then your motivation isn't to get that thing done. That's just an excuse to see I did something. I don't believe in that. You're going to do it. Don't need a special day. Just do it. It's in your head.
I agree.
I agree. Yeah, I agree 100%. Mike, you have got a donation for your project right there from Adirondack.
Yep.
And he says that it's $10 for Khan and Jericho. Explain Jericho, Mike. Give a minute on that.
Sure. Joel is talking about, and it's Adirondack. That's Joel. He's been supporting me since November, for the entire month of November, entire month of December. I've been raising money. Every super chat, purchase of mugs and t-shirts and all that, everything I get, I'm taking half of that and I'm going to give it to a company that's called the Jericho Project. They're a private institution. They help the homeless. They help veterans. They help families who are in need. And this is not a government program, because government is the reason why these people are in trouble. So it's not a government program. And they help over 3,000 people who are homeless and veterans, and some families as well, here in the New York City area. And they're expanding. I've raised money for them before. I think it's really wonderful. Having lived homeless in my life, being in the military, knowing many, many veterans, both in my family and around, this is something that I take, and of course, always wanting to help families with a hand up. This is important. And so, thankfully, Joel has been one of several people who've been helping me to raise up money. And in January, I'm going to take all that money. I'm going to go on live on one of my live streams, and I'm going to, and I've done this before, and I will show exactly every dime I got in, exactly what I'm paying out, and I will pay it live while I'm on the stream, so people will know this is where your money went. Exactly every dime.
Good idea. I like that. Yeah, Mike, you're big on transparency. It's great. The way you drop the links on the bottom of your show and all that kind of thing. What you're going to do with Project Jericho and show the money right online. Awesome idea. And Adirondack has another comment here. He does not do well with resolutions. Where did he say that, right? That is not coming up. I do. Here it is. I do very low def resolutions.
Takes the easy. He takes the easy ones.
Yeah. Low bars. That way you don't feel bad. But I don't do. I'm with you, Mike, on that. And Joe, I don't do them either. And the reason is, I feel like you said, Michael, that that you shouldn't wait till once a year. If you need to make a change, you need to make a change. Like, could you imagine, like, it's July 15th and you're like, I really need to, save more money, but I'll wait until December 31st before I start. I mean, come on. Right. Why would you do that?
Some people do. Some people will wait until some kind of event, and it's like, then you're not serious and it won't work.
And I'm gonna do it, yeah. So I'm not a resolutions person. I'm not even like a New Year's person. We're gonna go out to eat and then come back home and play a game. That's what we're doing. And I've been like that my whole life. Even as a teenager, I wasn't really big on New Year's Eve. All righty, there you go. And we actually have some news to cover, but I like hearing about let's see, what do we got here? Nice of Charles to give you the opportunity to. Oh yeah, no problem. Of course, absolutely. All righty, so I want to start with this idea that the Trump coalition is falling apart. You know, they think infighting with MAGA. To me, it's the Trump coalition falling apart. That's the way I view it. I put it out there for anybody who hasn't heard my take on this. Donald Trump didn't win the presidency because of the Republican vote. He would have lost if it was just straight Republican, straight Democrat vote, right? He won because he built a coalition, right? He got African American men. One second, Mike. He got African American men to switch over. He got libertarians to switch over with the Free Ross Ulbricht. He also got some Bernie Bros. He got some AOC folks, and I know that blows people's minds, but AOC was so surprised that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was so surprised that people that voted for her voted for Trump that she actually asked them why. And some of the responses were, you two are saying the same thing. You two are the only two that want to really help the poor. So yeah, and so they voted for him because there are people, and Michael, you know this, there are people who just want change, right? And they don't care who's right. Like Joe, you think if Trump fails, are those libertarians going to vote for him again? Yes or no?
Well, they did. So in my opinion, this is an unpopular opinion, but Trump already showed he's not a libertarian in his first term. So all the libertarians that voted for him and for this time around have me confused, honestly. Like, I get the Free Ross thing, but I mean, really, you're voting for him for that, but you're voting for him to incarcerate and kill and maim tens of thousands of other people, increase the deficit, put people in jail for burning a flag. Even though I disagree with that, it's fundamental First Amendment right. But regardless, gun, like, no due process, take the guns, like red flag laws, like, it's just so many things. Like, why are libertarians voting for him? So to me, he already proved in his first term libertarians shouldn't vote for him. So I don't really. I think the libertarians that voted for him for this time around, they were probably going to vote for him anyway. Honestly.
No, all righty.
Yeah.
That's a, I gotta let Mike. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Well, okay, I might go. Then I'll answer the coalition thing.
All right.
Yeah, Mike, you shook your head no to everything, so we need to hear.
Yeah, I fundamentally disagree with pretty much everything you guys have said so far. And the reason why is, one, Trump was never a libertarian, and quite honestly, no one ever thought he was. He never really tried. Yeah, he went to the convention, said, "Yeah, I'm a libertarian." That's just pure politicking. Of course, everyone on the stage said that they're a libertarian and or had libertarian values. And some of the values of Donald Trump are libertarian values, as well as some of them are conservative and some of them are actually left-leaning. He's not really, he's never been a traditional Republican. You can even say he's not a Republican, but he is conservative. There is a difference. No, he was never in charge. He was never going for the red flag laws. That was establishment. He considered it and dropped it. That's not on him. People were voting for him in the Libertarian Party, which was only 3% of the vote. Trump would have won without libertarians. He wouldn't have had a mandate, most likely, but he would have won without the libertarian vote. It was only 3%. What they were voting for was RFK, the opportunity to get Maha, something that was getting zero traction until Trump took RFK in. Then Maha became something national. That became an issue, and now we're seeing that we are improving the healthcare of America. So Trump was very good for libertarians. He raised them up. He gave them credibility. He raised up a couple of their issues, and now they're being able to react to that. As for the coalition, Is it falling apart? No, it's not. No, it's not. The media wants you to believe that because the media needs you to believe that. The media, which is 80%, 85, 90%, depending on which poll you want to look at, leans left, if not far left. And for them to protect their Democrats and to get people to be interested in 2026 midterms to vote for Democrats, they have to demonize and try to effectively demonize not just Donald Trump, but Republicans, conservatives, MAGA, America First. They have to demonize that. So anything that happens, as we have seen, not only in this year, but for the last 10 years, any negative that can be perceived or suggested is magnified, and it must be truth because Orange Man bad. This is just normal bickering in parties that happen every year, especially during midterms. It's nothing new for the Republicans. This is nothing. It's just media hype.
Okay, Joe, you had one last point on you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was going to do one last point. I actually agree with a lot with what Mike just said there. I think Trump would have won without the Libertarian vote. Frankly, I agree. And the former chair of the Libertarian Party that made that deal with Donald Trump, she endorsed him. And again, like I think she would have voted for Trump anyway, but she made a tweet that said, you know, after Trump was sworn in this time around, that's right, we have a libertarian president of the United States. I don't know if she was just trolling or whatever. She didn't believe that, whatever. But she did say that, and she resigned officially because she's taken a job in the Trump administration. Again, this was like almost a year ago now. But anyway, all that aside, to answer the question, I don't think the coalition. I agree with Mike here. I don't think the coalition has been breaking up at all. I think RFK Jr. is still intact. Tulsi Gabbard is still intact. Elon Musk probably went away a little bit, but he didn't go away too far. He's still there. He's just, you know, they're not working towards Doge anymore. But, he's still on board.
Elon isn't government. Elon is business.
Right. It's still part of the coalition, though. I mean, that was.
Yeah.
But even if you take Elon out, I mean, he still has RFK Jr. He still has Tulsi Gabbard. I think Tulsi. Honestly, I'm disappointed with Tulsi Gabbard. And by the way, it's worth mentioning. Tulsi and RFK Jr. were Democrats like 2 or 3 years ago, and like not just regular Democrats; they were hardcore Democrats, right? So them coming over, that's meaningful. That's a big deal. So I don't want to downplay Trump making that coalition by any means. I think it was a big deal, and he's managed to keep it together pretty much like all together here. They got cabinet positions, or not necessarily cabinet positions, but like they're top in the administration. So he made a deal. Trump is the deal maker. He made a deal. He got the coalition together. They're still together. So I'm agreeing with Mike on this one.
Yeah, Mike, you said demonizing that it's left-wing media, the predominantly left-wing mainstream media that's demonizing, and I agree. I mean, I watch Morning Joe to get my fix of left-wing. I like to go to the source, and Joe used to be a conservative, but my personal opinion is that he got influenced by his wife, and now he's no longer a conservative. I don't know. He's practically completely to the left these days. So I think a lot. So they have TDS on that show, and I do see the demonizing. I hear where you're coming from. But I did write down that word because I wanted to remind myself. Yes, they're demonizing, but that leads to this: does it even matter at this point that they're first of all, Mike, you said they're having a discussion, right? Yeah. And you're allowed to have discussions. I mean, Joe, like you said, RFK and Tulsi Gabbard were Democrats. They had opposing viewpoints, and they're gone. Right at this point, like J.D. Vance said, more or less, I'm paraphrasing the other day. We just talk like it's okay to have a difference of opinion. You don't have to rally around a person until that person is chosen in the primary, right? And then everybody drops their differences and goes behind that candidate. I mean, you could have conversations. So the Republicans are showing that, and yes, they are being demonized. but is it too soon to even matter? Like, are the Democrats just like not like, are the Democrats' point of demonizing, is there any point to it at all? Because there's still a ways to go before we see if Trump's coalition has fallen apart. Am I right or wrong?
They have to cede the idea that it's a failure. They have to, their worldview and their power base is based on the idea that Trump is evil, and anyone who follows Trump is some degree of evil and or damaged. They have to have that, otherwise they don't have their power base. The fact that they have no leadership, they have no policies, they have no direction. This is why all of their donors have abandoned them. That's why the DNC is $15 million in debt as we speak, and they have no idea where they're going to get any money. They have to weaken the Republicans on as many issues as they can so that they have a fighting chance to maintain and or win a couple of seats in the midterms, which, by the way, is tradition. And I love people going, see, but the Republicans are falling apart. They're in a civil war, so they're going to lose the midterms. Traditionally, historically, whatever party wins the presidency, they lose the midterm almost it's like 90, well, it's about 80% of the time. If you win the presidency, then midterm right after, you lose the House. That's normal. And that's not by a lot. It's one or two seats, but that's the change. So this is normal. We're actually consistent with history and where we are right now and what's going on. But if you listen to the left-leaning news media, oh my God, the world, Republicans have completely collapsed. They have fallen apart. They're all squabbling. Well, let's compare what's going on with Republicans having differences of opinion. Most of that happening outside of politics, that, Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and that realm, that's social, has nothing to do with the government, but they're saying that is the fall apart. What are Democrats doing? If Republicans are in a civil war and we're falling apart, then the Democrats are dead and buried. Look at their party. They're dead and buried. If Republicans are in a civil war, Democrats already lost their civil war. Everyone got killed. There's nothing left. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. I'm with you on that. Let's see. Shelly's chiming in, and she says, "Morning, Joe looks like a Muppet, and I laugh at anything he says. Once you see it, you can't unsee it." Yeah, Shelly, I don't know what the heck happened. He was supposed to be the opposite. When he first went on there, what was it called? Scarborough Country, his original show? And he was supposed to be like the opposite viewpoint. And he clearly is not anymore, but he used to be.
For a long time.
Yeah. For folks who don't know, he came into Congress in '95 when the Republicans swept Congress. It was a Republican revolution. Clinton was president. Newt Gingrich led it, and I was going to say Hannoush. I was thinking Joe. Joe, you're not in Congress yet. Joe Scarborough was a part of that wave. No leadership. There's a vacuum. So this is a two-part question. Number one, who is there ready to like step up? Is there anyone at all on the Democratic side? And number two, and this is for both of you guys, how does a third party take advantage of this, either at the local level or even higher up in DC with the congressional races that are coming up? Is there an opening here for a third party to actually make some noise? And who could take it? Who on the Democratic side is the leader? Like, who's the leading the pack right now?
Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the Democrats actually have, like, I've been watching some polls for this election and for 2028, and the Democrats, they have kind of a bench. Like, these are not great names, but they have people that are available. Like, obviously, Kamala Harris, you always go for the most recent person who's available for it. Obviously, AOC is getting a lot of traction now. And the one that we've been talking about for like 4 or 8 years now, the governor of California, I forget his name, Newsom.
Gavin Newsom.
So they got names already. Pete Buttigieg, his name comes up again. Waltz. Oh, what's his name? Tim Walz.
Tim
Tim
His
Walz.
name's
Walz,
still coming
Minnesota.
up. So they have people. I don't think any of them are great, but AOC and Governor Newsom, frankly, they have something about them, right, that could get people to come out. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if one of those two names end up being the front runner in 2028. Or there could be some surprise. Like I think at this point in the last cycle, we didn't even know who Vivek was, and he kind of came out of nowhere. And
Yeah.
he was up there. He was Trump obviously was the front runner the whole time, but Vivek was like making noise. He was around third place most of the time behind DeSantis.
Mm-hmm.
But no, same thing for the Republican side. They got DeSantis. They got who's the vice president? J.D. Vance. So they have a bench also. So it'll be a very interesting 2028 campaign. And to Mike's point earlier about the midterms, it would be a huge victory for Trump and Republicans if they didn't lose any seats in the midterms. So and you mentioned earlier in the mid 90s when I forget his name. How they had the revolution there, and then also how a lot of Republicans, after the Tea Party in 2010 and 2012 got elected, that was another kind of Republican wave against like Obama's term as president. So yeah, I'm expecting a Democrat wave to happen in these midterms. I'm hoping the Libertarians, can make a splash. You're going to see a lot of kind of the purple districts, if you will, that supposedly, again, because the Republicans in president right now, these congressional seats should be flipping to Democrat. So you'll see the incumbent Republican might lose here in some of these seats, and Libertarians might make an impact. So I think the incumbent Republicans have to make, Libertarian talking points, I would hope, and don't wait to do it. Do it now. We got the session coming up. Start being libertarian if you want to get that 3%. If you think that 3% is going to make a difference in your purple district in these midterms. And honestly, Trump should know this already. Republican strategists should know this already. They need to be moving towards the libertarian, getting that 3% slice, which could make all the difference in the world for the following 2 years. Otherwise, it's lame duck if the Democrats take control.
Mike, you are a conservative Republican, but you threw your weight behind a libertarian for governor, and that's Larry Sharpe, and he's also on RFK's ticket. So you have a perspective that's moderated by not always being party line. How do the libertarians make some noise here, or any third party, going into the midterms?
As a national blanket view, they don't.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not going to happen. Now, on individual races, kind of like with my good friend Larry Sharpe, who is running for governor of New York, and yes, I do support him for very specific reasons. And that's what you're going to see in one or two, maybe three races across this nation. You're going to see a very similar thing where you have an individual who is a very strong personality. That's the commonality you see with AOC and Gavin Newsom, as opposed to, say, J.B. Pritzker or Josh Shapiro, some of the other Democrats that want, even Kamala Harris, doesn't have the personality and the charisma that you see in some of the Democrats, and that's their only hope. But that's also something you see in certain libertarians, in particular in this case, Larry Sharpe, strong charisma, very knowledgeable. That stands out. The thing that stands out the most for me in looking in the New York race, governor's race, and I think this is critical for anyone considering libertarians in the future, actually any candidate, solutions, defined, clear, effective, efficient policies. Now, when I look at New York's race, as an example, microcosm, which represents the entire nation, I think, you're looking at Democrats are promising more promises that they've been making for the last 30, 40, actually since 1958. Democrats have made all of the same promises every single election cycle. We've gotten no solutions. Nothing's actually gotten better based on their promises. So that's useless. And then they add in Orange Man Bad for the far left diehards because the left wants to rally on that. You look at the Republican, that's Bruce Blakely. Really big fish in Long Island, completely unknown anywhere else. As soon as you leave Long Island, no one knows who he is, no one cares. He's also making a lot of promises, like I'm going to cut taxes. I don't know a single Republican that has ever run for any office that has never said, I'm going to cut taxes. Everyone says that. How?
Yeah.
He has no answer. No answer on that. Again, he has no policies. He has no way of the how on what he's promising. Things will be safer. How? Things will be better. How? He has no answer. That leaves me with, of course, Larry Sharpe. I can ask Larry, and I have over the last decade, how he has answers. Do I agree with every one of his answers? No, but he has an answer. They are realistic. They are effective. They may not be exactly what I want, but I can work with that. We can tweak that. I can't deal with, here's a promise, no how, and none of the promises ever come true. So why should I trust you? And that's what I think. That's where I think the libertarians will excel in certain parts of the country. If you have a charismatic person who has a defined how, they may do well, and you could see one or two of them win across the nation. Does that lead to a groundswell of third parties? Gen Z, Gen Alpha are weird. They still haven't figured out their political philosophy that they're going to adopt as they go into their 30s. That then leads to their hardcore voting pattern. They haven't defined that yet, so I'm not sure. But at this moment, I see a couple of individual wins, not party-wide.
They're so weird they haven't figured out that they can use their kitchens to make coffee.
Yeah, that's the new thing. They have. Did you hear about this, Joe?
I have no idea what you're talking about. No.
This is a new thing. I just saw it. It blew my mind. Home cafes.
Home cafes.
Reality has finally hit Gen Z and Gen Alpha that going to Starbucks every day to buy a $12 cup of coffee is a waste of money. And so instead, they're now buying coffee beans and grinding them and making coffee at home. Although they do it, unlike me, who've been doing this for like longer than they've been alive, they're doing it online. So they'll set up their camera and they're like, hey, I'm having my cup of coffee and reading a newspaper or something. And that's their home cafe because they suddenly realize, hey, that's cheaper. And gee, boomers like me, or whatever you want to call me, have been doing this all our lives. And we've been telling them, you're stupid. A cup of coffee doesn't cost $12. I don't care how Italian and exotic the name. It's a cup of coffee. It ain't worth $12. No. And this is a thing. This is a thing with them. It just blows my mind.
It is pretty funny stuff. I mean, crazy in a funny and a crazy kind of way. Just so everybody knows, because these things can get so confusing. Gen Z is I just googled it. Gen Z is born 1997, between 1997 and 2012, and these folks are just discovering that they have a kitchen that can make coffee. And I was reading one of the articles. They're actually writing up menus.
So these are like 28-year-olds.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't have to look if you like that kind of coffee.
College graduates, they got degrees.
Wow.
And they just figured out I can make coffee at home.
That's really strange. I mean, I could see maybe a 21, 22-year-old maybe, but I don't.
If you're over 16, if you're over 16 and you haven't figured out that you can make coffee at home and it's cheaper, you're pitiful. You're pitiful.
I don't even drink coffee, and I know I could do that at home.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of funny. It's I don't know, man. You know,
I gotta think they're probably trolling though. I know that the generation, they just want to post something on Instagram or whatever, and so I think they're just like, oh, this is a good idea. Let's post this old thing, and it's gonna get a lot of clicks and whatever. I hope that's the thing though. I hope they're just intelligent enough to be like, let me play dumb on no. Okay, I don't know.
No. This is like a whole Twitch. That's it. TikTok. It's a whole TikTok trend. They're like, it's these are the same people that eat Tide Pods, soap.
Oh, they are the
These are
Tide
the
Pod
same people.
generation.
This is that same generation.
I think
They
you're
don't
right.
know
Yeah.
enough to how they have not social Darwinized themselves. I don't know, but I'm sure they're trying to figure out ways to do it.
And they knew they could make Tide Pod, Tide Pod juice at home, right? They were making it before 10 years ago.
Exactly. And they're
They're putting two and two together now.
The thing is, like, if you like the taste of, whatever it is, Dutch Brothers, Starbucks, what have you, every now and then go treat yourself. Like, that's fine. Or if you're making, $500,000 a year or something, and then it doesn't matter how much money you spend on the car, but it is kind of ridiculous. I mean, the funniest part, though, is that they were just figuring out they could do this. So Shelley has solutions that work for all 62 counties, talking about Larry Sharpe running for governor in New York. He knows the uniqueness of the state of New York. Going by Blakeman and Hochul's inability to define their plans would lead me to Larry. Absolutely. I agree. I voted for Larry. So go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say, I like Larry running in New York, and he's running in a very democratic state. So some of his solutions does involve, you got to work with Democrats. You got to work with Democrats up there to get some things done. So his solutions, as Mike was saying earlier, is very solution oriented. His solutions do involve, not necessarily strictly libertarian things, but they are solutions to work your way towards, getting rid of the bureaucracy, the overregulation, expensive government waste of New York. So he's very let's get rid of the junk and focus on something actually working for the people.
Right.
And we do here in our own state of Florida, we do have a governor candidate. We have Scott Jewett, who I think is the same thing. He's someone who's willing to have the solutions that work with the body you're going to have in front of you. Because if he wins, you're going to have Republicans and Democrats beat over voting supermajority against him just because they don't want to see someone not in their party succeed, right? So you got to have solutions that I'm working with you here. So this could be a Republican win if you pass through the legislature or whatever. And then, I'll sign that. So you don't have to take credit for it. Just get it done. I'm sure Larry would probably govern the same way. Don't give me credit. Just fix the thing.
Oh, he does say that a lot. Yes. Go ahead, Mike.
By the way, I want to mention something, Joe. You had mentioned it, and I think you're right that in terms of Maha in particular, which is, I associate Maha with not the left, but with libertarians, and more so than RFK, just that concept. And I do agree with you that many Republicans should adopt that. And if they do, it will be very successful and it'll help them win a lot of races. And yeah, that 3% does make a big difference in a lot of local, even congressional races. That 3% is a margin that will win races. So I do agree with you that that's something, and they should have already adopted that. They should have figured that out from 2024 when we saw what happened with Trump, and that should be part of the messaging. But again, just like using New York as an example, neither Stefanik nor Blakeman figured that out. Part of the reason why they're going to lose. So I do agree with you with that. I just wanted to mention it.
So Joel has a comment here, and he's wondering what's next in the kitchen. Coffee at home. What's next? Making dinners? Well, they can boil water for coffee now. At least they know how to make the water hot. So maybe they can boil water and put some eggs in it and get some mayonnaise. And all of a sudden they have an egg salad. Get a couple slices of bread and you got a meal.
No egg salad. Either a boiled egg or put pasta in and make some, make spaghetti. But
so they're on their way, Joel, to actually making a dinner.
I put peanut butter between two slices of bread.
Amazing.
It's a great invention. You guys got to try it out at home.
We're giving away too many kids.
Okay, you got me with that one. Okay. Nice.
We're gonna have to come up with a new segment that's like kitchen recipe tips.
Yeah, for Gen Alpha.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well,
Gen Alpha, you can remember, you want to attack me, it's MV Consult on X, or you can, Joe, don't yell at Charles, don't yell at Joe. I'm the one who said it. Attack me. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this guy right here, who is the dragon of the Bronx, breathing digital flames, no sound bites allowed. So you could yell at him there, or you could be fun, friendly, and informative there as well, even though he doesn't have that tagline I do. But you could always be fun, friendly, and informative and not yell. So either one of those two things work. And just in case Mr. Hannoush doesn't have a show because he is throwing his hat into the ring, Joe will be running House of Representatives District number 28. If people are in Florida, know the name Bill Partington. Joe, what mayor? He was the mayor of what town?
He was the mayor of Ormond Beach for either 6 or 8 years, and he was on the city commission for a total of about, I think, 20 years or so. And yeah, he just won his first election to state representative last time in 2024. I actually was a candidate in that race as well. And he's actually a nice guy. I know him. And I actually know his dad as well. His dad is very active locally here. And I haven't actually filed the paperwork yet, but I'm going to. And I'm going to file on the 2nd. So it'll take about a week after that. So in about 10 days from now, it'll be official. So, but yeah, I'm 100% I'm going to run for it.
Excellent.
What district is that in Florida?
District 28, state representative, District 28. Yeah, so it's the northeast district of Volusia County. So just north, basically it is Daytona Beach and north of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And before we move on to our next topic, I would like to remind people to like, comment, and share. Comments have been great this evening so far. I'm really appreciating that. Share this, get it out there. I want to have the world know that I'm doing this. I'm going to be bringing on some authors, if you didn't hear the top of the show, in the next couple of weeks, some political candidates, some bands, and I actually am working very hard to get together a panel just like this for baseball discussion, and we'll throw in some other sports as well. Just like here, we didn't plan on talking about Gen Z that just found out about their kitchens, but it was a great moment, and we had to go for it. So definitely would do that when I get my baseball panel together as well. I actually got somebody who said yes, and came awfully close, by the way, of having a Hall of Famer on here. And I'm still working hard to make that happen, but I won't say who, because like I said at the top of the show, people poach me, and the next thing you know, he'll be on some other show. So I'm not going to say who. But yep, I hope to get that guy. So like, comment, and share. And let's see, let's hit the questions here. Let's catch up on some of the comments. I will tell my friends. All right, sounds good. Thank you. That is awesome. And let's see what else we got here. Shelly did ask about the district, but you said District 28, right?
District 28, yeah.
Yep. All right, great. And all right, cool. Let's go on to our next topic here, and it's one that Mike, you had brought up when we were BSing before the show, and that's Trump renewed efforts to get Greenland. Mm-hmm. And just for context, for people who may not remember, he's not the first president that thinks getting Greenland's a good idea. I know Truman had talked about that as well. But Mike, can you kind of feel it? I didn't catch this one. Perhaps too much partying over the holidays, so I didn't see this. But apparently, yes, he is. And I got a few questions, but can you set this up for us? Give us the context of what's happening right now.
Sure. So this is the quick summation of it. Previous presidents had considered trying to do something with Greenland, mostly because of positioning. And you hear a lot of people right now, they're saying, well, we want Greenland because we want to protect against China or Russia from the north. We're basically protecting America's northern hemisphere. Okay. That's not it. That has nothing to do with it. Donald Trump is looking to get rare earth metals. One of the second largest deposit of rare earth metals in the world is in Greenland. And they have about 12% of, we believe, of the rare earth metals in the world. And if you like climate change, if you like renewable energy, electric vehicles, then you require rare earth metals, as well as AI, technology, computers, defense are all tied to rare earth metals. So this is very important. And Donald Trump, seeing that and knowing the future, especially now that we know AI is becoming such a big thing very quickly, and energy is very important, then we need this. Otherwise, right now, about 80% of all rare earth metals are tied to China. China doesn't like America. Whether it's Trump or not, they don't like America. So if they have the stranglehold on it, our technology growth is limited, our quality of life goes down. So Trump's trying to make a deal, whether that deal is cash to be able to access the rare earth metals, or whether it's taking Greenland and convincing them to become a commonwealth or a state. It doesn't really matter. He just wants the deal. We saw that at the beginning of this year. That was being talked about. That was
Right.
February, March. And now it's come back up within the last week and a half. Most people don't know it's come back up in the last week and a half. Again,
Yeah.
So that kind of brings us up to date.
Yeah, I didn't know. Like I was saying, so Joe, is this even realistic? I mean, is this something like what would be a victory for Trump? A, is it realistic, and what would be a victory for Trump in this? Would it just be like becoming a commonwealth?
Well, I think any president, in their second term, they think about their legacy. How will I be remembered as a president? And throughout history, most of the known figures, leaders of countries, any country, are usually the ones that expand their territory. So I think in this case, him, buying Greenland or acquiring Greenland, whatever the term is, he'll be that will be his legacy. He expanded the United States. So to y'all's point earlier, it is strategic. It is there is some value there as well. I mean, I'm not necessarily for it or against it. I'm indifferent, really. But I could definitely see why Trump or whoever would be president at this time would want to do that kind of deal if it was available to do. How realistic is that? I don't know. I don't know if we just pay them or something, or I don't know how the deal works, honestly. But yeah, I mean, if I were president right now, I'd probably be like, that would definitely be an option on the table. Why not look at it? If we get a good deal for it, sure.
See, here's
Mike.
the thing. We just sent a special envoy to Greenland. Basically, it's an ambassador almost, or look at it as it's someone who's doing the sales pitch for the Trump administration, for America, to get Greenland however it takes. Doesn't matter if it's a commonwealth, a state, or they just give us a monetary deal. We don't care. People are underestimating or don't recognize the value of the rare earth metals. They are so important to the future that China is now making other metals more difficult to acquire, to penalize and to punish America. And at the same time, you have Denmark, who are technically Greenland is a commonwealth of Denmark. So anyone who's trying to say, oh my God, this is about conquering lands and we're going to be oppressors or something like that, remember that Denmark is the one who owns Greenland. They're the oppressors already. And there is no native indigenous people on Greenland because it's a rock, ice and rock. But anyway, that being said, so this is very, very critical. China understands how important this is to the future of America. I mean, literally, this will define the quality of life for our grandkids. It is life-changing, whether we get this or not.
Why do we need it?
Well, if we don't get it, our ability to build AIs is limited. Matter of fact, our ability to not just do AI, if you love green energy, assuming that we figure out how to make it effective, we make batteries, you want to do electric vehicles, or even missile defense, none of that happens without rare earth metals. We have some in the United States, but to continue at the pace of quality of life that we have right now, we need more. Africa is the largest source is in Africa. They've made all the deals with China. Thank you, Obama. He threw Africa under a bus. We made none of the deals under the Obama administration. China did. They now control the rare earth metals. They can turn the spigot off anytime. Matter of fact, they tried that earlier this year. Remember in August into September, we went into a mini trade war, a second mini trade war, because China said, we're going to turn off the rare earth metals. And Trump said, you get 150% tariff to start.
Sure, yeah, I remember that.
How important it was. We started with 150% tariff and said we will go up, and I think we got to 300% before China backed down, because we have to have this or America stagnates and we become a third world nation.
Yeah, I remember that. So I got a little news blurb here. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I got a little news blurb here I want to pull up about this topic. Let me go into my grab this image right here. So let me just make the screen bigger. So I highlighted a few things. So this is from Political, as you can see. European leaders move swiftly to back Greenland on Tuesday after U.S. President Donald Trump named special envoy to the Arctic island. Mike, you just referred to the special envoy. The special envoy's last name is Landry. Jeff Landry. He's the governor of Louisiana, and he's going to do, it sounds like, retail politics. He says he's going to go there and try to convince the people of Greenland that it's a good idea to work with the U.S. on this. I look forward to sharing that message with the people of Greenland, and the message is there is no better flag for freedom and opportunity than the flag of the United States. It's kind of general. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm going to try to convince them to be a state? Does that mean I'm going to try to convince them to be a commonwealth? Or just convince them that we should have some really outstanding treaty where we get the rare minerals?
All the above. I think all the above. You know what you're not seeing, though? Democrats are trying to stab this deal in the back, saying Trump is a colonizer, authoritarian. They're demonizing, and their negativity on Trump and that deal means they're hurting America. No one's talking about that. Literally, the more you say that Trump is being authoritarian and he's going to somehow illegally take over Greenland, you're making it harder for America to make this deal. They're making the deal more expensive, harder to do, and you're harming America's future. No one ever says that, but that's the direct consequence. Do you see what I'm saying, Joe?
No, go ahead, Joe.
No, I mean, and I don't know, again, like, I don't really know how the process would work. I am glad that we're talking, and there are other things on the table, whether it's Commonwealth of the United States, whether it's just a deal, like a trade deal, for example. Frankly, that's probably what I would prefer, is just a trade deal. But again, I'm not against a transfer of Commonwealth from Denmark to the United States. I'm not against statehood either. But I'm as a libertarian, I believe in decentralization. So I don't want and I'm not saying this is happening, but to the point that the Democrats are trying to make about like a one world government or authoritarian colonization, whatever. I don't want that. I prefer less governments controlling things, even if that means having more governments, having less control, and just them working with each other, just having free trade. That would be optimal in my opinion. But yeah, again, like, I'm not necessarily against like Hong Kong, for example, had like, I think, a 50-year or 100-year contract with under the rule of the United Kingdom or Great Britain, and then it transferred over to Hong Kong. Like, I don't mind some kind of deal like that. Like, okay, let's do a 50-year deal where it transfers over. But I want them, and I know there's not a lot of people in Greenland, but I would want them to want to be whatever they become eventually. Like, whether they become the Commonwealth or American citizens as a state, I want them to want to be have that happen.
And of course, the government over there is up in arms. The Danish foreign minister, as it says here in that last yellow highlight, reacted with anger And you've heard that from other high-ranking officials in their party, which of course, I mean, in their government, which of course they're going to react with anger. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Don't you think we should make DC a state before we make Greenland a state?
No.
Oh my God! Both no, I got shot down on that one. What? Those people can't even vote for the
here's the
president.
reason.
It's constitutionally. There's a reason why, by Constitution, DC can't be a state ever.
Right. Yes, that's the same reason I have. DC cannot be a state. And I don't think the capital of the United States should be in a state, period. I think they should have their own little place. Like, I don't mind making it smaller to where it's almost just the White House, if you will. But like, I don't think so. I prefer smaller governments. More of them is fine. I prefer no government, but if we're going to have them, then just have more smaller governments. That's all. So I'm not looking for expansion of the federal government. No.
Well, you were right. DC was pretty much just the White House and the Congress initially. In fact, initially it was just the White House, and then it grew to the White House and Congress. And then it started getting more corrupt, and we started adding more to it, and people started living there. No one was ever supposed to live there. Right. That's why you have no voting rights. You had to go back to your home state to vote, because you're not supposed to vote in DC. It's not part of, literally, people forget this. It's not part of America. It's one of the reasons why Trump could put actual military troops there. Mm-hmm. It's not part of America.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
No, by Constitution, it's not, for the very same reason you said. No state should have our capital, because any state that does gains too much political power, and there's too much corruption, because New York City was initially the capital of the United States, and there was so much corruption and so much power in New York because of that. They went to, instead of looking at any other state, they said, you know what, here, let's put it in the middle of a swamp. No one owns it. No one can control it. No one gets the benefit. They were
I should probably reread the Constitution with that context in mind. And just the Constitution of the United States, the United States. So yes, if it's not in a state, maybe it isn't in the country. I honestly have to read that with that in mind and see.
That's why it's a district. That's why it's a district. It's the District of Columbia. It's not actually part of the United States. It's a separate entity all its own. That's why the rules are different for them than anywhere else in America.
Shelley reminds us that Mexico City has their capital inside the city, but it's separate. That is interesting. I think times change. Let me play devil's advocate here. Times change. And perhaps, everything that you guys are saying makes sense. However, it is now a functioning part. You weren't supposed to live there, and now people do. And it just seems to me that if we evolve to this point where folks are calling that home and they have no say on the federal level, it just seems wrong.
Yeah, I agree. And not only that, again, to the point where people should not be living there, that's just their work. Like, these people go into Congress and even a presidency, you're going to work, you're doing your civic duty, then go home, go back to your state, go back to your job. It's gotten carried away, honestly, and I'm not sure it's ever going to be resolved, honestly, because it's not even talked about. So I think this is the first conversation I've ever had about this, honestly.
Really?
I've had a few. I've had a few on this.
All right. So you know what? Let's move over to Ukraine, the Ukraine-Russia situation. There seems to be some talk by Zelensky about the quotes I read this morning. He's not totally opposed to giving up some land now. He's sort of like hedging. He's sort of like moving in that direction a little bit. The way I perceived his quote was that better to end it here before we lose more land. That's kind of like the way I was reading into between the lines of what he was saying. Are we seeing the end of this? What do you guys think? Do you guys have a feel as to whether or not this is actually going to come to an end? Let's just give it some time. By this time next year, in the next 12 months.
I would say no for the next 12 months, but I will say this. I have heard that Zelensky is talking about a defense deal with the United States. Like, you're our defense, de facto defense, for the next, whatever, 50 years or whatever it was. I think that would be very interesting. Because if Zelensky, I'm just making this up here, if Zelensky makes a deal that says whatever parts of the country, territory that Russia took over right now, if we just pause right there, call that the demilitarized zone, if you will, and just say, okay, now we're not joining NATO, but the United States government is our defense for the next 50 years, I think he takes that deal.
Yeah.
No. Well, Zelensky will take any deal we give him because he's learned better than to listen to the Democrats because they're screwing him. So is the EU. He knows this now. He learned that after April. And he's willing to take any deal because he needs it. Without a deal, Ukraine ceases to exist. But Russia won't accept that. They'll never accept that. First of all, they won the land. They're going to keep the land, which is true of any nation that you get in a war, you take the land that you win. That's the whole point of fighting over it. It's yours. Those resources, those access points, it's all yours. So but Ukraine has this insane idea, which is backed by their law, that they have to get back everything that they lost. They can't accept defeat or a peace deal according to their law because they lost any of the land. They have to get it all back. That's ridiculous. That has to change. Now, will this end within the next year, next 12 months? Yes, because it has to. Because Ukraine is dying. It is a war of attrition, and Ukraine doesn't have the resources or the personnel or the income to be able to keep this fight going. They never have. They've been losing slowly but steadily since the day this war started. And Russia knows that, and they are taking advantage of that. That's why this deal, the two biggest problems with getting peace has been, one, Zelensky being stupid initially because he was being led by Democrats saying, we'll give you a better deal, piss off Trump. He did, and they couldn't deliver. And the EU said, piss off Trump, and Europe, along with the United Kingdom, will give you a better deal. And he pissed off Trump and went over to them immediately. And after a weekend of talking about it, they came out and publicly said, no, screw you. If Trump says no, if America says no, you're screwed. He wound up, that's why he's now begging with us. That's a problem. But Russia got to see all of this happen. And while it was happening, Russia took advantage and took over more land, because it's a war of attrition. And that's how they're winning. The second biggest problem we have is that Russia is winning. They know they will eventually take it all. It's just a matter of time. And Russia has the resources and the manpower and the income to do this eventually. So whether or not they want to do it sooner or later, with Trump in office, a strong president who can do more than just throw out a couple of tariffs that will be ignored, that's going to be a problem. So they want to get a deal and wait for a weak president to possibly get more, because Biden was giving them everything they wanted, realistically. So was Obama. That's what we're going to see. So they're not going to go with the no man's land. They're going to say everything we've taken, we get to keep, which is the eastern portion of the Ukraine. That's the Donbass region. That's food, farms. That's uranium and rare earth metals. That's fertilizer and access to the southern portion, the Crimea, connecting that whole thing, which gives them access to the Black Sea, which lets them get to the Mediterranean, which makes a second port for Russia, which is absolutely vital. And this is a war they've been fighting for these very same assets for the last 1,300, 1,500 years.
Hmm.
So that's the reality of it. Yes, we see this deal happen. And I think in the next year, as everyone does the math, both in terms of manpower and cost, we already saw Zelensky just said, yeah, I'll take the 13 to 15 year deal. That shows America's commitment. Americans going there to get some of the rare earth metals puts Americans on the ground, also redevelops their infrastructure, which is desperately needed by the Ukrainians, and that gives them the protection. Russia's not going to suddenly just drop a drone bomb on a bunch of Americans
Course,
or civilians
yeah.
rebuilding stuff. They're not going to do it. That's 15 years safety. That's more than they've ever gotten. This deal is over in the year.
All right. Well, I hope so, because when this war started, I was I said to Don, I said the best thing that can I'm no fan of Putin. I mean, he's a murderer.
No,
the best thing that could happen is that Russia wins in like 2 days. The country is saved. The opposite is what's happened. I mean, the country's war of attrition, like you said, Mike. The country's absolutely destroyed. So many people lost. And oh, by the way, I believe a lot of this Putin invaded, yes. So he gets most of the blame, but I believe Joe Biden perpetrated this war, that he has blood on his hands. He gave Ukraine just enough to tie because because our military got to see in real time the tactics of the Russian army, the Russian armed forces. We got to see how some of our weapons worked against them. And guess which banks will be rushing in to rebuild that completely demolished country? Mostly American. So the military-industrial complex took advantage of Ukrainians being slaughtered, as well as our banks will. And if we really wanted to win, Joe Biden we can beat anybody, anyplace, anywhere. He wanted to embarrass Putin. He wants to use Ukraine as our army, so we didn't have to have our soldiers die, our armed forces die. We can use the Ukrainians to die and find out all those things I just said. I won't repeat them. That man has blood on his hands. He is likely going to hell for it, because he is the reason hundreds of thousands of people have died. I know Putin invaded, but it could have been over so much more quicker if Biden didn't play this, or whoever was pulling the strings didn't play that freaking game. And that's my opinion. And I am the opinion guy, but you guys could say no if you don't like to. I'd like to hear you say no.
I disagree with about 50% of what you said there.
All right, let's go.
It's complicated, but again, I've been following this for many years, and there's a lot of politics. This goes back to 2014, 2013. There have been a series of things that have been happening under Obama and again under Biden that led to this. One of the biggest triggers being our rout and running away in Afghanistan. So you're not completely wrong. I think the reasons are very different. And no, it wasn't. I know the libertarian third party love to say military industrial complex. It's not. It's not a bank thing. This war wasn't about banks. It wasn't about the military. And we could not have gone in there or helped the Ukraine go in there and defeat Russia overnight, or even very quickly, without triggering World War III. Could not happen. The only way we could have helped them to significantly defeat Russia faster, rather than just hit a stalemate, would have triggered Russia into going into Europe and starting a regional war. But there's a lot to that. So I'm just saying there's a lot more to this. It goes back over a decade of information. There's a bigger picture here. A lot more involved in it.
Okay. All righty. Listen, Shelly took off for another show. It's been fun, but Larry is going live. Great conversation. Yeah. Larry, I lost somebody to Larry. I want Larry on my show to discuss his run. Put that out there right now. But Larry's show was great. So, Shelly, you can always come back and watch the rest of the show and then make comments afterwards once the show is over, because we know the algorithm loves that. And in fact, anybody out there, if you have thoughts afterwards, I'm very big on that. I watch the shows in the morning a lot and various times throughout the day, trading back and forth between a whole bunch of shows, like 5 or 6 different shows all day long, in between working, of course. And yeah, definitely come back later, Shelly, and see the rest of the show. Let's see. We got user Bin Band is in the house, and he says, "Oops, hold on. I think that was his second one. Club of Rome. Did I miss one here?
No, he's responding. The Club of Rome comment is in reference to what you were saying. That's the military-industrial complex, the banks. That would be Club of Rome, the World Economic Forum, the IMF. That's what he's talking about.
Okay, and many others. Yep. Okay. All right. I see where you're going with that. I didn't know that. And Lunaire, Al Gore's rhythm. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Hit the like button. That's what it means. Hit the like button.
Yes. Hit the like button.
And
like,
subscribe.
Comment,
and subscribe.
If you care, you will like, comment, and share, and subscribe. All righty. All right. Great stuff. So I have a new segment that we're going to do this evening, and it is called Funniest Moment of the Week. I don't know if you guys got to see it, but it was pretty funny. I had to. No. I know Mike's like, I know. No. I thought about you. All right, wait, don't blow it. We don't want the.
I'm not. I didn't say anything.
So first of all, I have to bring it up on the screen here. Yep. And last week, that's what I was going to say. Last week I did the dumbest news take of the week. I couldn't find anything particularly stupid this time, so we're going with
cafes. You did. You found home cafes. Dumbest thing.
Oh yeah. Well, yes, that's true. But I like this funniest one here. So give me 1 second. I'm going to bring that up and get that off the screen. And let's see, I'm going to share my screen here. And this comes from Reason TV. And I thought it was pretty. Thought it was pretty. What's that?
Shocking. It comes from Reason TV.
Reason TV is good, man. You got to watch it. You watch them, right?
Occasionally I have to.
Yeah, of course. I love them. They're really good. Okay, here it is. I think this is great. Especially
Need the perfect holiday gift for someone special in your life? Like that very special someone who can make things happen? Come on down to B-Rhymes Technically Gifts. We take the guesswork out of holiday shopping and government influence because apparently nobody gives a shit. Whether you're hoping to lower trade barriers, get a pardon, or simply rewrite a small subsection of federal law, we've got the perfect gift that mistletoes the line between ethics and efficiency. Looking for a classic gift and a reduction of tariffs on your country? Try a bar, pure gold, and a Rolex. Nice. Want to make a splash and obtain highly sensitive anti-drone technology? How about a luxury Boeing 747? We got those. And for the discerning customer who prefers something a little more classy and understated, try huge sacks of cash earmarked for a ballroom. There's no better way to see. Please approve our corporate merger, but don't take my word for it.
We need make deal. Give President's son fancy new car. It's just gift. We make deal.
Engraved watches, peace prizes, a seat on the board of a foreign energy company. Whatever the fuck this thing is, or this thing. I can't stress this enough. Nobody gives a shit. I'm an ambassador. Each gift comes with a complimentary card that reads, "This is definitely just a gift." B-Rhymes Technically Gifts. We're not Latin America yet, but we'll get there.
I love that last line. We're not Latin America yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah. One.
That was great. All right, wait. Before you cut, I didn't get the B-Rob stuff at first. Did anybody put that together?
Yeah, it was instantly obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wasn't to me.
Okay. I instantly caught it. It was the first thing I saw. One thing for future, you should probably pause those about once every 7 to 10 secones. Otherwise, you can get hit with a copyright shutdown. That's just a thought. Just something, I've been doing this a while. There's a reason why everyone pauses with these. But anyway. Yeah. I know you guys found it funny. I found it hyper partisan and annoying.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike.
No, it's okay. It's one thing if it was. See, the problem I have with it is it had a specific target. It wasn't talking about government. It wasn't talking
Yeah.
about corruption. It was saying Orange Man bad. It was just, what is it, 45 seconds of Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. And I find that boring and useless and hyper partisan, and I don't agree. So I lose the humor in it.
Okay. Alrighty.
I still thought it was funny, but I agree with your points, Mike. It is targeted towards one individual, and taking jabs at him. But I thought I found the humor in it anyway. So
It is
Yeah.
original. I'll give him this. That was
is.
original.
It is.
And it was
That
well
guy-
produced.
Yeah, that guy's hit or miss. I don't know his name off the top of
I
my
don't
head.
know,
but
Drew or Andrew Heaton.
Andrew Heaton.
Yeah,
Okay.
Heaton, like Heat on Andrew Heaton.
Oh, okay.
He's actually a podcast host. He has he's very thoughtful, by the way. He's not like his character. He's a very like independent minded. He is like a libertarian. He's a small L libertarian. The what is it called? The Orphanage podcast. But he's very independent minded, leans libertarian, but very thoughtful. Like they'll have someone on from both sides discussing a topic on his podcast. He'll go like 45 minutes or an hour, and they go in depth. And it's very, like, in my opinion, it's very objective. Like I'm libertarian, so I'm kind of biased here. But I think the Political Orphanage, the podcast he hosts, it's good. I think people from both sides would enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, I think for what it was, a hit piece, it was very effective at that. And for people who believe in the Orange Man bad mantra, I think they'll love it. And perhaps the more you lean towards, if you lean towards that or you agree with that to some extent, you may find more and more humor with it. I understand it was well crafted. It was well produced. I get it. It's just, I don't know. I don't find that funny. Maybe if it was just generic government in general,
Right.
probably more so. But it wasn't, so it lost me.
All right. So User Been Banned says the dumbest news not found. That sounds impossible. Yeah, there is a lot of dumb news out there. I will admit. There's so much derp in the news. Absolutely. And he goes on to say, lobbyists, bribes, same thing. What's this? Orange people are the smallest minority.
Good point. Good point.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, all right, folks, this has been a fantastic show this evening. I want to thank everybody for stopping by tonight, and the comments are great. I love seeing the comments on there, and just want to say, no matter where you are in the world, I'm glad you took some time to watch the show tonight, and I hope you had a good time. This time, until next time, I will see you later.